I'll start with some bookends to this trip because I botched the bookends, okay? Mm-hmm. First thing was I decided strategically, every other time we've gone home, we've just moved from house to house and visiting with people and celebrating usually either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you're moving around a lot of couch surfing, and it's absolutely exhausting, and there's never any personal space. So especially with 3 weeks in this plan, I was like, okay, we're gonna try something new. We're gonna stay at an Airbnb. Also, Christy's sister had just had a baby, and there was like the COVID protocols of it all, and like maybe being isolated and stuff like that, and taking into account other people's preferences in the family. And basically just having a newborn in their house meant that we couldn't stay at their house anyway, where we normally stay.
But this seems like a genius plan. Can I just say that?
Renting an Airbnb.
I've never done this, but I feel like this was a smart move. I mean, we did the Airbnb in the mountains, but yeah, it was different. I feel like more people, if you can afford it,
it can be
should
pricey.
Do this. But I gotta say, I think that many families would be insulted by you deciding to stay somewhere else. And I think that people just need to just relax and just I'm not saying this would happen, but this happened in my family. I'm not saying this, but I think that for most people, there's a reservation to make the choice to do what you did, to stay at an Airbnb, especially when you got to visit multiple people.
Oh gosh.
Even if you're gonna go and they have room and it's just one family, I think that having your own space, I think it only contributes to the time together being sweeter than having to just be up in each other's space.
I think the quarantine experience also informed this, that okay, we're all in the same house so much more that we learn to respect people's boundaries and be grateful that we have a house where everybody can have their own private space and to retreat into. So having a renewed sense of that importance, that also informed the trip. Now that was not botched. That was brilliant planning. So on the back bookend, one of the things that you should do if you're booking an Airbnb is book it for the entire trip. Like, don't book it for 3 weeks minus 1 day. So we Jenna's like putting her head down.
It's not Jenna's fault.
You didn't do this, I did this.
Link did it himself.
I took it into my own hands. I don't know what happened, but we're flying out.
Numbers, dates are numbers.
Flying out on the 23rd, but I put the checkout on the 22nd. Did not know this, never occurred to me until noon on the 22nd. The oldest kids were, they're still asleep. They sleep till noon.
Right.
And this is one of those days where we weren't getting up and visiting family, and all of a sudden there's like this aggressive knock on the door, and it's the cleaning lady coming to clean the Airbnb, and I open the door and she's like, I'm here to clean, and I'm like, well, we're booked through tomorrow.
Yeah,
and she's like,
you definitely took the wrong posture in this situation.
For some reason I was so confident, which was just stupid. I should have immediately known that this is my fault.
Right, yeah.
But it took me a second, and she was like, and then I pulled up the thing and I was like, oh crap, you're right. We'll be out of here as soon as we can. So then I'm like waking up the older kids.
But at least you were not in Cancun, and I made the same mistake on my honeymoon.
Right.
I was in my bathing suit with the sculpture in hand when this happened to me, but I had to stay at a seedy hotel in the—
You had a sculpture in your hand?
I had just done the sculpture class.
Oh.
And I was like holding a sculpture and finding out that I was supposed to be on a plane.
Oh yeah, thank God we didn't. Thank God it wasn't the other way.
So what did you do? Where did you end up staying? The street?
Well, I was like, we can't extend another day because she's coming to clean for the next people to come in, and they're already asking, can they check in early? And of course that ain't happening. So we had stuff packed up enough because we had taken a mini trip. There were a couple of mini trips in there where we had to pack everything up and visit relatives a little further away, which I'll tell you about. So fortunately, in record time, in about 20 minutes from understanding that we did not belong there anymore, we were out of there. And then I found another Airbnb closer to the airport for the final night. But it did make our last day pretty, our next to last day pretty hectic. Because then the last day was just getting up and getting ready to go to the airport and everything. That was the back end. But right when we get there to the Airbnb, I'm feeling good. I'm like, this is a good decision. We have a home base. It's gonna revolutionize this entire experience.
Are you saying things like that? The dads tend to do that. They tend to say what you just said to me. You say to the family, "This is good. We have a home base, and no one cares that you're doing it for no one."
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So don't do. So next time, just keep it inside.
Well, we
have to learn to inhibit that dad instinct because it's only gonna get worse as we get older. They don't. I've just noticed every time I start trying to talk about how good the plan that I made is, everybody starts walking away slowly.
Yeah, they don't miss a beat when I'm doing that.
Care.
It's as if I'm just muttering to myself,
right.
But emoting a little too much.
Yeah, it's a good plan. We got a home base. Who's dad talking to? Himself.
And I'm like, okay, well, and in order to fully realize this experience, I'm gonna go to my room with my suitcase and I'm gonna unpack all of my stuff. Like
elevate your suitcase on one of those things? Did they have one of those things?
No, I just put it on the bed. I also elevated Christy's because hers was heavy and I don't want any early vacation suitcase lifting injuries. I'm thinking of all the potential pitfalls and I'm putting everything away, making this space my own. This is the launch pad
using
from
drawers?
Which we are I don't use drawers because if you use drawers,
you might forget.
You leave stuff in drawers.
Well, unless the drawer check is part of the routine.
But I put out my toiletries in the right place, and I put my suitcase I organize it in a way that it becomes a series of drawers almost. As I'm doing that and putting things in my suitcase in like an open-faced suitcase sandwich situation, I realize that I've overlooked a key aspect of my apparel. I have not packed any t-shirts. I didn't pack.
I thought you were gonna say because my dad didn't bring underwear.
He didn't?
on the trip to the mountains. And so he had to go to Walmart and get more underwear. It's easy to correct.
What's the one
underwear.
category if you were to miss it entirely would have the greatest impact?
For me?
I mean, I know you're a tall guy,
pants.
so it's pants probably.
But during the summer season, shorts is not. I mean, shorts don't. It's not as big of a deal.
I had a couple.
So shirts is about as bad as it gets.
I brought a couple of button-up shirts. I knew we weren't gonna go out to dinner. That wasn't part of any of our plans, really. It was more of like visiting people and t-shirts. The only t-shirt I brought was the one that I was sleeping in and the one I was gonna sleep in when the one I was sleeping in was being washed.
What's your packing system? How did you forget t-shirts?
I saved the most important thing to last because in my mind, the t-shirts are the most important part and I need to make a big stack of those.
Well, I know you got a lot
I use them to pad other things.
You got a lot of systems for things, and I don't have a lot of systems, but can I just give you I think the reason I don't forget clothing on a trip, now I'll forget other things, toiletries, medicine, whatever, but I don't forget apparel because I have the toe to head check. So I'm just like, do you have all the shoes that you want and the flip-flops, everything that can go on your feet.
You don't have to walk through it, I understand.
And then
it's a good idea, but don't insult me by.
But you get to the top and
give me a body scan.
But you get to the top body scan, and t-shirts are part of the body.
This is the way that I do it. I do it by, I have my drawers organized by, I got a sock and underwear drawer, and then I've got a pants drawer, and then I've got a workout / shorts drawer. And then I've got some miscellaneous drawer, and then I've got my shirts over here and my button-ups hanging over here. So if I go to every segment and take out the appropriate amount of things from each place, then I've done it.
So what happened?
I don't know. But returning to go to my t-shirt pile, I just overlooked it entirely. I don't know what happened, man.
Somebody distracted you in the midst of it.
I mean, I ended up
gotten a text.
I ended up finding a shop and just buying a bunch of shirts in one place. I bought 7 shirts.
Like cool t-shirts or just
an Urban Outfitters. I can still get a t-shirt from Urban Outfitters.
But not you didn't do I'm gonna do the Fruit of the Loom 8-pack.
No.
Okay.
There's an increasing number of things that I can't buy in Urban Outfitters, but t-shirts, I can still find some stuff that I don't feel like I'm posing. I'm not buying a bucket hat and some big old britches like my son is.